Is blindness a barrier? No.
Is deafness a barrier? No.
Are mobility, learning, cognitive disabilities, speech impairments and others, or even a combination of them, barriers? No way. Lack of accessibility is.
Welcome to Web Accessibility for All.
Follow the blind. This journey starts now.
This website is a total mess. I mean, it's like trying to watch a movie where all the actors are standing way out on the edges of the screen. It's crazy. And I'm stuck in the middle, totally lost. I mean, come on. This is supposed to be a website for people like me as well, okay?
These are almost the exact words, or should I say complaints, a colleague of mine, Julia, told me once. She is a senior QA analyst, and she was using one of those ultra-wide monitors for work. So you might be wondering what happened to Julia. Isn't that in fact the perfect situation for testing a web app? Well, maybe not. She has low vision. And now we are going to find out not what happened with her, but what happened with the website she was testing back then. Hey my friend, welcome back to Web Accessibility for All, the podcast where we dive into the wonderful, yet sometimes challenging world of making the web a better place for everyone. I am your host, Ariel, and today we're going to talk about something many designers and developers don't always consider when they think about accessibility. Wide screens. Now we all know the golden rule.
Never fix the zoom. Never fix the zoom. Never fix the font size.
Letting the user have control is a simple but crucial rule of accessibility. Yes, we've heard this mainly in relation to smaller screens, like on mobile devices. For someone with vision impairments, zooming is a lifeline to actually being able to read the content. But what happens when we flip this around? What if we are looking at a giant screen or a projector during a presentation? What challenges do low vision users face? For folks with low vision, wide screens can be problematic in several ways. For instance, dealing with reading and focus, because they lose focus on the context when scanning large lines of text and when content stretches across a wide screen. Also, what about the text size? On wide screens, the text can sometimes appear even smaller in relation to the vastness of the screen, making things even harder to read. Luckily, there are a few tools that people with low vision often use to make their experience a little easier.
Screen magnifiers.
Essentially, it lets users zoom in on specific areas of the screen without affecting the global zoom level. Windows Magnifier, Max Zoom, and Zoom Text, which also includes its own lightweight screen reader, are the most popular ones.
Custom screen settings.
Tools like F-Lux or Night Shift can help adjust screen brightness, contrast, and color temperature, which can be a huge relief for people who find that screens are too harsh. Now, for us Developers, it's not just telling folks, hey, go and grab a magnifier. We can do more from a front-end perspective. Here is where we get into the good stuff.
Approaches for developers.
1. Limit the content width.
Use CSS to define a comfortable max width for your content. You could try the following in the CSS for your body tag.
Body left brace. Max dash width colon 1200 px semi. Margin colon 0 auto semi. Font dash size colon 1.2 rem semi. Right brace.
What it does is center your content and prevent it from stretching out. While this rule is now standard, it remains an important point to remember.
2. Increase text size on larger screens.
A trick I like is using media queries, not just to reduce text size on small screens, but to increase it on wider ones.
At media screen and left paren, min dash width colon 1600 px right paren, left brace. Body left brace. Font dash size colon 1.4 rem semi. Right brace. Right brace.
3. Focus on line length.
Long lines of text are a nightmare to read, especially for those with low vision. Keep line length around 60 to 75 characters by adjusting your CSS like this.
P left brace. Max dash width colon 65 ch semi. Right brace.
This forces the text to wrap up in a way that is easier to read, so Julia and others aren't swinging their heads like they are at Wimbledon. Oh, and here's a neat little tip that many developers overlook.
4. Use IEM units for font sizes.
This way, when someone increases their browser base font size, your content scales appropriately without breaking your layout. Alright, having said all of this, one thing comes to my mind. As developers, we might find ourselves building websites with responsive designs, okay? But here is the thing. What if you don't actually have a wide screen to test on? Zooming out manually isn't really the best idea. Aww. I know, it's tempting. When you zoom out, you shrink everything. Text, buttons, images, everything. In a way that don't accurately simulate a large screen at 100%. So you are not getting a true picture of how your content behaves. So my friend, how to test for wide screens without owning one?
Browser developer tools to the rescue.
Most modern browsers like Chrome, Firefox, or Edge have built-in developer tools with an awesome feature called Device Mode. This is where you can simulate different screen sizes and resolutions, what will give you a much more realistic sense of how your layout responds to wide screens.
Virtual machines at cloud services.
If you want to go a step further, you can use services like Browser Stack or Lambda Test, which allow you to test on different virtual screen resolutions. So you get to see your site exactly how it would look on various devices and screen sizes.
Emulators at external monitors.
If you have access to a second monitor, even if it's not ultra wide, you can set the resolution to a higher setting. This will give you a closer approximation of how your site will look on a larger screen. Now, here is an interesting scenario. Let's suppose the following. Julia, my friend with low vision, walks into a conference room for a presentation. So the presenter opens a website on a giant projector. Julia can't enlarge the elements herself. So what now?
Projector situations and low vision users.
In these cases, things can get tricky. So text that is already small could look even smaller when seen from a distance. But now we have a new problem.
Contrast issues.
Projectors can sometimes mess with color contrast, make it even harder for users to distinguish elements. Bright rooms or poor projector quality can make light text on dark backgrounds, or vice versa, even harder to read. So how do we, as developers, help in a situation like this?
Ensure text is scalable.
One of the best things you can do is ensure that text scales appropriately. This means using relative units like M or RAM instead of fixed units like px for font sizes. When you use relative units, it ensures that the text grows or shrinks depending on the user settings or even the screen size.
Test with high contrast mode.
Make sure that your site passes contrast checks. Low vision users often depend on high contrast to read content more easily. You'd be surprised how often projectors, especially in big rooms, destroy contrast ratios and make it hard to distinguish text from the background.
Projector-friendly mode.
Here's an uncommon yet super useful tip. Create a projector mode style sheet that simplifies your design and increases the font size and contrast specifically for presentations.
At media print, projection left brace. Body left brace. Font dash size colon, 2 rem semi. Color colon, number 000 semi. Background dash color colon, number FFF semi. Right brace. Right brace.
Alright, now that we've covered some practical testing strategies for wide screens, let's quickly talk about a more subtle but super important aspect of design that can affect users with light sensitivity.
What do we do with all that empty space on light screens?
Yes, whenever we center our content up to a maximum allowed width on large screens, we obviously have to leave a lot of unused space on both sides of the screen. This is expected, but sometimes as screens get larger, the problem for certain people also increase. I'm talking about users with photophobia or visual snow, conditions where excessive brightness or contrast lead to headaches, eye strain, and general discomfort. This is especially true when someone's viewing a wide screen in a darker environment. In these situations, we must double-check our approach and explore strategies to improve the user experience for this group as well. Use neutral, soft background colors. Instead of going with stark white, consider using neutral or softer background colors for the empty space around your content. Aside from neutral colors, here's another strategy. Consider a dark mode option. Implementing dark mode can be a lifesaver for people sensitive to light. Dark mode reduces eye strain by minimizing the brightness of both the content and background areas. By the way, apply dark mode to the entire page, including those empty spaces on the sides.
At media left paren, prefers dash color dash scheme colon, dark right paren, left brace. Body left brace. Background dash color colon, number 2C 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 semi. Color colon, number E0 E0 FF semi. Right brace. Right brace.
You can automatically apply dark mode based on the user's system preferences. Remember, this option should always be user configurable. To sum it up, wide screens can be just as problematic for low vision users as small screens. But as front-end developers, we can offer better solutions right from the start to ensure an optimal reading experience. That's all for today, my friend. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share and like. And most importantly, build accessible websites. Because as we always say here at Web Accessibility for All, the web is for everyone. And it's our job to make sure it stays that way. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us today. Subscribe for a new challenge next week. And don't be shy. Leave us a review or ask your accessibility questions online. See you next week for another episode of Web Accessibility for All.